هم دوباره اومدیم. سلام به همگی. من واقعا عذرخواهی میکنم توی این فرآیند لایوهای ما توی این مدت اولین بار این اتفاق میفته و نه برام خیلی عجیبه. حالا من سعی کردم سورس اینترنت رو تغییر بدم و دوباره شروع کنیم. یه خورده طبق معمول همیشه منتظر میمونیم که آدینس بهمون اضافه بشه، بیننده ها، بعد در واقع درخواست میکنیم که عذرخواهی میکنم ایلیان هم بهمون اضافه شه. خب خورده منتظر بمونیم تا اضافه بشن دوستان تک به تک. یاسمن خب سلام به همه، ممنون که دارید اضافه میشید بهمون. من عذرخواهی میکنم بابت پارت قبل، نمیدونم چه اتفاقی افتاده امشب. Hello Mishigo, I will ask you to join us in a couple of seconds. یاسمن به من بگو که من تصویر من و صدام اینا همه چی درسته، همینجا برام بنویس، چون من اینترنت لپتاپ رو قطع کردم که اینتراپت ایجاد نکنه و نمیدونم شاید آپدیتی انجام بده یا هر چیزی اینترنت رو بخواد ضعیف‌تر کنه. لطفاً برام همینجا بنویس اگر صدا و تصویر منو داری که من از میشیگو درخواست کنم بهمون اضافه شه. خب دوستان، من مجدد میگم اگر سوالی بود لطفاً فارسی همینجا بنویسید. یاسمن جان همسرم مینویسه سوالا رو برای من ارسال میکنه و من میپرسم. مرسی از همتون. اوکی میشیگو، I'm asking you to join us. Hello again. Hello.
Hello. Can you see me?
Yes. I'm so sorry. I think I don't know what the problem was, but I just unplugged the Wi-Fi and plugged it again, and I turned off my Wi-Fi and mobile data. You know, I've been going live for almost 7 or 8 weeks. There has never been something like this. You know, the problem, in a big problem like this. But tonight, unfortunately, it happened. I'm sorry. I was talking to Yasaman while I was just checking my internet, and she told me that due to bad connection, the audiences did not understand the live totally, and they didn't get the idea of live. I think we have to restart the live. Is it okay with you to start from the beginning again?
Yes, it's okay. Yeah.
It's okay. Do you have time for that?
Yes, we have time. I was even going to suggest when we went off earlier, I was even going to suggest that we repeat that session. I didn't think whether repeating it today or another time, but we'll talk about this. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay. I think we have to start from the beginning, and I have to ask you about that. Your story, your background, and
that's fine.
I'm sorry, and I think this time it would be better.
Listen, I think time has come for me to share this information. Time in my life, because I have never shared this information with anyone. Never.
Oh.
I'm very.
Good.
Knows that. I mean, she knows partially because she lives with me, but I have not shared this information, and this is not something that calls for drums and balloons. You know, it's not happy but not unhappy story. It's a technical thing, which I can be more helpful to people than helpful to myself. I can get help through the MuseMuscle for me.
Yes, sure.
For the stuff that I do, I can be helpful for others. For MuseMuscles, I'm gonna come to you.
Sure. My absolute pleasure. I'm so happy to be the first person to hear about your story. It means a lot for me, and I'm so happy and I'm so excited about it. Okay, let's restart the session. And sorry.
Go ahead. Yes, do it.
Okay. I want to ask you about your educational background, your I don't know, your principal instrument, your story. We would love to hear about you. Okay.
Go ahead.
He's asking you.
Oh, it's
telling you a story.
No, I thought it was,
Yes, yes. I'm asking you.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
No, I was expecting a total restart. This is like when you send me some questions, I started answering them. This is my foolish self.
Okay, we would be more than happy to hear your story, your educational background, and how you came to this stage. Let's share them.
In short, like many people, they start with piano, they play for some time, and some continue with piano, others take other instruments. Same happened to me. Bulgaria has 7 professional music schools, but really professionals. You go there because you want to be a musician, not because you're going to study everything else plus music. It's music plus everything else. Only it's not a totally Russian system, but partially Russian, partially European, but it's a Bulgarian hybrid. During communist times, few things were done that were quite positive. I have no political belonging, simply saying that there were 7 professional music schools. I graduated from one of them because there are 7 bigger cities in Bulgaria. So after that, like everyone, if you wanted to be an instrumentalist, performing on the performing side, we went and applied at the music conservatory in Sofia. And then the so-called democracy happened in 1989, 1990, and I had just graduated from school. I did 2 years in Sofia in the music academy, and I applied through a recording for a couple of schools in New York. I went to the New School University. It's called. At that time, it's an innovative university. Actually, it's a quite good school. The New School now it is a university, and it contains many different types of schools of art. For example, a Parsons School of Design. There is a great jazz school there in this, and it's right downtown in New York City. After 3 years there, I applied at Juilliard for their professional studies program. It was called Professional Studies, and you took exactly the same exams as if you do in doctorate, but without the dissertation. I really didn't have the financial stability to do this, so I did this program, and they accepted very few people, very few people, especially in the single instruments like clarinet, flute, and stuff. So that's what, in terms of education, I went to Juilliard for another three years, and then after that, I signed a contract with a manager, and I did few years, and I was playing as a principal clarinetist at the Haddonfield Symphony. This is right next to Philadelphia. The conductor was the future conductor of the New York Philharmonic, Alan Gilbert. You know, I was doing okay, playing solo. Playing in orchestra. There was one great symphony in New York at this time called Jupiter Symphony. It was a really incredible symphony. 25 people were able to produce sound for 125 people. Such incredible orchestra. Such incredible orchestra. The conductor and the founder was an incredible man, Nygaard. He wasn't well. He had a lot of hardship in his life, but he was a great man. I've learned a lot from him. He even used to tell some of us, you know, he had a phrase, he would say, oh, you're a great soloist, but you gotta spend another 3 years in the practice room. You're not ready for the orchestra. Stuff like this. and then I discovered he had a famous saying about dotted 8 with the 16 note. He said when one person plays dotted 8 in 16 note, it's quite close to a triplet. Imagine if 25 people play dotted 8 note with the 16 note, it sounds like triplet. And he was even bashing on a lot of the big name orchestras. He says they don't know anything about rhythm. All the dotted 8 notes with the 16 sounds like a triplet when a big orchestra plays it. So he was always very strong on the double dot, and of course at this time it was rather new to me. I thought it was too extreme. He said everything is rhythm. The rhythm is like the skeleton of music, and then you patch it around. It was too extreme, but I absolutely took me years to really agree with that, because it's absolutely true. The moving mechanism of music is rhythm, and it's not to be in rhythm. He was always talking, people put the metronome in, pop, 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 pop. No, it is the inner drive for music, but takes time for this. It took me time to not only understand, to feel that, how it drives through music. You know, often when you play with a group or something and you feel they're absolutely correct, but there is no drive forward, the forward thing. So that was happening in New York, but then later on I had an accident, and that accident in short led me to 3 corrections of my upper and lower teeth, 3 corrections at the dentist. There were some broken pieces, but I thought fixing it, correcting it, like making completely even to what I thought was even, would fix things. So the first time was still, I can still play, let's say, but I decided to do a second and third because things were not recovering the way that I thought would recover. So I ended up...
What was the accident? What happened?
I fell.
You fell from where?
I fell on the street. I tripped. I tripped. It was a small piece broken, basically a small piece, but it was very sharp. So I had to do something. Instead of building it, I decided to file it.
Okay.
With the dentist. And everything since then, going down 15 years, was due to all of these decisions that I took. Basically, due to the accident, I started adjusting and fixing my teeth, and I fixed nothing. Absolutely nothing. So, as a chain reaction, or what I call it a domino effect, which everyone knows about the domino, one system at the time was switched off, not working in my entire system. The system, the entire, this time let's start from the muscles. Muscles become cramped due to fear, especially the torso muscles, all the way up to the neck. They get cramped.
Yes.
They get stressed. Like but you know this, of course, better than I do. When you poke, how do you call it? When you poke, let's say, a turtle's head, and it goes back in a shell. So
it's got tear.
Yeah, so the muscles, or a snail, if you poke a snail, snail goes back immediately into the shell. Yes. So my muscles around the body became, due to a nerve sensitivity in a negative way, they got cramped. So I became rather one moving entity in a negative way. I couldn't use my muscles, stopped functioning. They were cramping, so I couldn't breathe. My rib cage.
It was after the time that, it was the time that you were in Juilliard School, or after that?
After, much after.
After that.
Yeah, I had a good going. I was playing a lot. We even had there was another orchestra which was a rather private orchestra, and the conductor of it was at this time at the Metropolitan Opera, and we had a private orchestra of 51 people. Eddie Malawi and I also played there. It was a magnificent orchestra, fantastic orchestra, 55 people. It was incredible. So it was after that, and
there is a question for playing the clarinet. Do you use your teeth?
Yeah, use upper teeth. There is a way to play which they call double lip. They use double lip, but I don't. You use the upper teeth. You rest on the mouthpiece, and you patch the lower lip over your lower teeth.
I got that.
Your lower teeth. Many people speak about upper jaw and lower jaw. We don't have upper jaw. We have one jaw.
Yes, that one.
And of course you need teeth, absolutely, and you need them strong. That's the so. But when this changes, when you basically change the entire setting of how your teeth come together, and they change how the jaw relates to the upper teeth. And once this, because you've created a habit, once this changes and changes a lot, you lose the almost like your vestibular system gets disrupted. The axis, our invisible axis that we use for drinking water, writing, anything, all of this, and so all of this, I'm sure that with other people could have been different. I don't know, but with me, everything that can go wrong, even things that I was not aware that existed, went wrong. For example, my mimics, the mimics of my facial expressions, that also became tampered with. Basically, if I wanted to put the clarinet in my mouth, the entire lower soft tissue went this way.
Wow!
It went this way. I couldn't control it. So I wanted to put the clarinet, and it went this way. How do you deal with this? How do you deal with this? Then, of course,
deal with that.
15 years, I didn't know what to do. And I stopped. I stopped.
You've been doing that 15 years.
15 years.
Yes, what were you doing at that time? Because you were unable to play the music.
I tried to relearn 3 times, but it was not the way that I wanted to be, the way that it used to be. So, but let me name the other. What else went wrong? Like once these things that you really have you have no control over, they influence another system. I call them systems. Another, well, the tongue itself is a huge part of everything. So my tongue got disrupted. My tongue got very tight down to where it slides down the throat, and of course. My throat got affected. My throat, I call it frozen throat. It became as hard as an empty glass bottle. As a result, I could not swallow. I noticed slowly. I'm very observant, by the way, for everything. I'm very. I don't remember names because I have a little bit of dyslexia, but I'm very observant. The detail is my thing. You want a detail? Come to me. For good or bad. So I started. Of course, I noticed a slight change, and I couldn't swallow. I had a little break before I could swallow, and it got worse. It got worse to the point that I had to chew. Of course, you have to chew. There's a chew long, but I had to chew beyond being a fun activity of having something to eat. And then I stopped. I had to kind of take something that's very easy to basically put through the throat, swallow it down. So that whole thing went for easy 5 years. Easy 5 years. Not to mention, I hope people don't hold this against me, but I suffered depression long time. You can, these things, and of course, fear sets into your being very, very strongly. Everything becomes a fear. You fear to.
Ilian, if you just give me a minute, because your story is really interesting, is it okay if I tell your story a concise one?
Could you repeat this?
Is it okay?
Could you repeat this once more, because it got again disrupted.
I said I was following your story, and your story is really interesting. Although I knew your story, we had talked over it, but now I was following you, and it was perfect. Could you let me a 30-second? No, I can let the Persian audiences know about your story as well.
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay.
As much as you need.
I'll Persian for 30 seconds. Is it okay? اوکی من داستان ایلیان رو بگم. خیلی داستانش جالبه. ایلیان نوازنده از جولیارد که توی بلغارستان که فارغ التحصیل میشه، بعد اپلای میکنه برای امریکا، میره دانشگاه تو امریکا میخونه، بعد میره جولیارد یه دوره شبیه دکترا که خیلی افراد کمی میگرفتن قبول میشه، چون واقعا تالنت خیلی خوب ساز میزنه. بعد اتفاقی که میفته، حالا با ارکسترهای مختلف به عنوان سولیست و اینا همکاری داشته، یه تصادفی براش اتفاق میفته، دندوناش میشکنه و فوق العاده استرس میگیره از این قضیه. این استرس روی کل بدنش تاثیر میذاره، به حالتی میرسه که میگه ماهیچه‌های گردن من و ماهیچه‌های گلوی من مثل سنگ شده بودن و من هیچ چی رو نمیتونستم قورت بدم. یعنی برای 15 سال با توجه به این شرایطی که داشته کلا آسیب بوده. 15 سال ساز نمیتونسته بزنه. میره، البته اینو اینجا نگفت ولی خب من چون قبلا باهاش صحبت کردم، شروع میکنه خرید و فروش خونه، یعنی اصلا دیگه موسیقی براش از زندگیش تقریبا داره خارج میشه. برای 5 سال به حالتی میرسه که زبون و ماهیچه‌های گلو انقدر اسپاسم شدید پیدا میکنن که ایلیان غذا نمیتونه بخوره، آبم نمیتونسته بخوره. به زور الان خودش میگه که برای من مثلا یه غذا میخواستم بخورم ساعت‌ها طول میکشید، خیلی کوچیک بتونم اینا رو قورت بدم. و خیلی داستان عجیبیه، خیلی به نظر من داستان عجیبیه و تا الان با هیچ کس این داستان رو شیر نکرده. اولین بار داره برای ما تعریف میکنه داستانو و میگه من تو اون دوران انقدر استرس داشتم اصلا زندگیم کامل تحت تاثیر قرار گرفته بود. تا اینجاشو داشته باشیم، من ازش میخوام که ادامه بدیم. اوکی ایلیان، we are here again and ready to hear more about your story. Thank you for giving us that time.
No, the pleasure is mine. I also wanted to let you know, to say it once again that there were times I was, I wouldn't say ashamed, but I was hiding all of this because it's a long time. In 15 years, you can forget many things.
Yes.
So I was rather embarrassed because truth is, there is no pride in this. It's factual truth. I was playing very well even before I went to United States. I did. Even
Yes.
some things that I'm doing now after all these years, I'm doing, but it's more conscious now that I used to do when I was 18, 17, 18. But that's just a factual thing. It's zero. Oh, this type of stuff, when comes to your life, it cuts the pride a lot. Pride and
Yes.
vanity. Pride and vanity cuts it really well. Trims. So I would like to be sharing all of this is not making me feel personally better. Like I feel so good about my story. I feel the same. I've been feeling this for years. So, but I honestly believe I can be of help, of great help to others, and even not with a particular one method, but it is life experience based on a lot of observation, a lot of action, and a lot of research, my own research. It is my own, as I said, my gypsy research, in a way.
Yes. And Ilian, what happened that you got interested in performance-related injuries? I want to know about that.
Well, all of this that I'm telling you, everything.
Okay, you said you started to work again and again 3 times.
3 times.
Yes.
Of course, I'll be
Okay.
interested.
What happened that you got interested in Alexander technique and you took some courses like that?
As I mentioned, my dear friend and colleague Eddie led me into. He opened a little bit of a light on the other side of the tunnel. He led me into the first steps, and later on, many more steps into the world that can allow a recovery, to fall back to where it's not that you can try and go again forward, but to try and start. So many different that are written on Alex, and later on again I got introduced to body mapping, which I think it's an incredible thing. The connection of the physiological with the mind setting, our primary maps that we have, and we ruin them as we go along. So of course that when I first heard about MuseMuscle, I wasn't attracted simply because I just want to have one extra activity. No, I'm a little lazy, to be honest with you. All these years of struggle makes you lazy. If people say I'm still active, I don't know who these people are. I'm lazy. I became very lazy. So, but I can really, like a dog, sniff something that is real, that is good, and it is not much of empty talk and fake meditations. I find, and I even shared this with Eddie. I think I told you too, that to me, and this is, I don't know about MuseMuscle. I read the text that you sent me, the short and the long. I read it today, but still.
Thank you.
But because of my, how should I say? Because of my life experience, I don't want to say struggle. People say, "Oh, this guy he struggled." But because of my life experience, creates certain sensitivity, and I can absolutely smell that this is like Alexander come alive in that section that is being developed. I really think
We are so glad
we
to
need
hear that. Thank you.
That's my personal feeling. It's not a compliment. It's my personal, honest gut feeling.
No, we
I
are so
really
happy to
believe.
hear it from a world-class musician like you. It means a lot to us.
Yeah, I don't know about the world class, but I'll tell you. I really think I've often thought, because see, people, it's not easy to talk about the Alexander technique. To really dig into talking about it, it's not. At least it's not easy for me. There are ways that, for example, I really like Eddie has a good way of introducing very fast about Alexander, and I really like that. I still haven't been able to remember it in the he says, but it's great. But I feel that how Alexander is the core of our mind and body action, the core, and it's huge because it's everything that we are. For example, someone who does martial, if familiar in a natural way, whatever natural may mean to others, if familiar and not too aggressive into the Alexander technique, so Alexander can help martial arts in that
Yeah.
to some people it's not going to make that much sense. Oh, how come martial arts? This is that. Yeah, but if you know how to use the self, you can do martial arts better. In that one.
Yes, of
So,
course.
but I always wanted to, subconsciously, quietly inside of me, I have always wanted to have a particular set of exercises that people stay clear of this word exercises. Even a lot, Eddie will tell you that Alexander, people in general, and that's not a bad thing, because you can have mindless exercises that do nothing, and people do a lot of these. You know this better than I do. You know this a lot better than I do. Mindless, blind exercises, like if you take the head of a fly and put it in a jar, exercises. But I've always wanted to have a set of well-taught, scientifically supported, and executed in the right way exercises that will really help your action, because when you play, it's action. There is a pain. There is a pain here. There is a pain here. When you squeeze the clarinet, and then when the pain gets really hard, and I'm squeezing. Too late, my friend. You're squeezing a lot. I tell this myself, because still you as you're talking about the constant awareness. That's the greatest thing. If you can be at least aware, so you can do the corrections. So for me, this is a great personal discovery of this method, MuseMuscle. I know it sounds a little bit like I'm advertising a spaghetti sauce. MuseMuscle, But I'm advertising it to myself. We have never met. We have no monetary interest of each other. So I really feel that this is something that, as you said on at the end of your presentation, the text presentation, that it has to be all of this has to be joined together, together with Alexander and body mapping, because it's one thing. It's part of everything. Maybe MuseMuscle is the action of all of this, the act. Say, okay, let's do all of this with the fingers, but do it right. Do it in a way that it will be not harmful, but helpful for the fingers, wrist, the entire arm set. This is incredible, because I can immediately give a very lame example of how people used to take these, oh, you know about this, these guitar plastic, how do you call this, the finger developing
It's
tools.
called, grip master.
Grip master, yeah.
Yes, grip.
That's it.
Let me
And it's,
let me say, Yasaman, let me say something to Yasaman. Yasaman, I think Mr. Babai has lost connection and he's not with us. Ask him to join us because this conversation is really important to him. Ask him to join us right now, Mr. Babai and Arya both. Okay, yes, the grip master. We believe that the grip master is not really good for guitarists because they use excessive force in a way that is not natural. You see,
absolutely.
if you want to push something this way, it's not natural. You don't use it, these sensory points to follow the energy. Okay, it's not good. And grip master, I have a grip master here, but I don't use that one because it's just excessive force and it usually causes more injuries. And although it's good and it can strengthen some muscles, but we don't want to do martial arts. It's when we have big muscles in here, they actually conflict when they want to work. You have seen, for example, bodybuilders, they have a hand this big actually.
That's
And
true.
you see their muscles that are big, and okay, if they want to do something with those muscles, it's impossible because they are struggling, they cannot move. But when you have strong but small muscles, they can move easily. They are like this in your hand. They are moving like this. But when they are big, they are like this. They cannot move. And grip master is one of those ones.
I discovered this a long time ago when I was, but I'm talking about a really long time, when I was in the music school here, and later on when time had passed and I'd done my research and my understanding, it is, again, there is exercises and exercises. This is doing without any knowledge and brain. This is, as you said, this is damaging. And what was an eye-opener for me when I read your introduction today, I picked small bits, which is really right on. It's incredible. Seem almost as if I've known this, but put this way, and of course supported by a lot of research and writing, makes a lot more sense. The small muscles, of course, the small muscles. That's the absolutely. I mean, this today when I was reading it, I went back a few times just to really, almost like you're thirsty and you're drinking water and say, oh, I want a little more, because of course that's why these big exercises, they don't relate to playing. They don't. Somebody does 100 push-ups before they start playing. You can do push-ups for different reasons, but not before playing.
Yes, it's related.
Putting weights on your stomach muscles, abdominal muscles, putting heavy loads of books to exercise breathing.
They really do that?
Oh, you'll be surprised. They do another thing. There's
Really?
another thing that mostly brass players do because it's not their fault. It is everybody's. It's the inertia of doing things blindly. I'm not here to blame anyone, but another
Because
thing.
it's blind.
Well, excellent.
We are just blind to imitate the previous people, and we don't think about that. We say, okay, because they have done this, maybe this is the right way, and I have to do that as well. But one important thing is we have to, as you said, find something new. And one of the most important thing is everybody is unique. You have to have your own exercises. In MuseMuscle, just for background is different. For example, maybe I talk on the phone like this. Okay, when I play the clarinet, I play the clarinet like this. I may be injured, okay, but you won't because you
very much
talk
possible.
like this. Yes, we are totally different,
Very
and
much possible.
we shouldn't. Yes, we truly believe everybody must have individual specific exercises. We cannot start a book, for example, we all have to, they just start a book and say, okay, this page, then this page, then this page, okay, maybe for my situation and my condition, I have to play this page as steps.
Yeah.
We have to understand, okay, the situation of the person and his background, her background, her body condition, and we have something in Persian, we call it body temperaments. We have different body types, body temperaments.
I read
we
this
have to take
in the. Yeah, I remember this mentioned in the text here about the
body
different setting, different assembly of a different humans. Yeah, that is. I think that's great. To personalize. To personalize the approach, I think that's amazing.
Yes, of course.
Again, that's why. Listen, I honestly, lately especially, I believe that music education. I'm leaving the other arts away. This is not my business. Some will say that's not your business as well. It is somehow it is. I really believe that music upbringing, not so education is a little pompous word, but music upbringing should be done differently. Should go back into the less classes, less busy schedule, more of a, how can I say, more like in India, you know?
Yes.
Like one person, or maybe in Iran, the old Persia, studying an instrument. I know for sure, I'm sure you know that, like for example in India, a master who teaches percussion, he asks them to study the syllables first, and once they get the syllables, they do these syllables for a long time, maybe a year or two, and they put it on the instrument, and maybe they also know about certain prevention, because you've heard about Yehudi Menuhin. Menuhin.
Of course.
Yeah, Menuhin finished his instrumental career in some ways split between the West and the East. Should we hold the violin this way? As they, or I mean, no, this way, like down this way. Maybe that's a better use. Maybe. I mean, if person does it well, they still play a long time, no problem. But who teaches you this stuff? Who teaches you this stuff? They're not teachers that teach this kind of stuff at the regular schools. No, you play like crazy, and your neck becomes like a tree trunk, and then you do the thing, you push on the ball, and then I have pain. Of course you have pain. So for me personally, MuseMuscle is a great discovery, which I would like to get not only introduced, I would like to find ways in the future to be taught how and what's the right way to do. And I would like to apply when I'm teaching in private the clarinet. I deal with other instruments. I don't make big fuss about it, but I try to deal when I think it's in my competence. I don't want to go and start working with some pianist and try to show him how to do it. I try to help how they can do it better, not my main doing. So I would like to incorporate MuseMuscle. Hopefully I'll get the chance to meet with you, or others of your from your team. So I can put this into my humbly called method cat tongue, just to make things even easier, things more floating in the sea of air, muscles, and movement. That'd be great. So,
Yes, of course, it would be perfect. We would really like that, and as you see, our aim is that we are not trying to fulfill our dreams of gathering all these approaches together to make a community and help musicians, because I'm reading more and more about the problems and the number of performance-related injuries and the number of musicians who face lack of control or injuries are growing crazy, and nobody cares. They say, okay, they faced injury, they stop for a moment and they start again. But sometimes they cannot start again, and it's their life, it's their career. We cannot talk about them like this. It's too bad, because the only way that we make money is music. If we don't make money, what can we do? And we have to care about musicians. As you said, let's talk about cat tongue. I really like to know about that. Just give us some ideas about cat tongue and what is that?
Before that, I'll tell you to add to what you were saying about the work-related injuries. Eddie can attest to this very strongly, how many people who play on Broadway, especially the strings, who they play every day and all the time. They hardly can warm up. Some people travel from far, so they go in immediately. They start playing, and this. I even remember of one, not only one case, but I remember one violinist who used to play with another friend of ours from New York. He's also plays on Broadway. She would finish, or in the break immediately. She has immediately. When the break starts, she goes and she puts her elbow in ice water immediately. She's in constant pain. That goes there, and she's not the only one. There are many people who are in constant pain and they don't have any relief. Yeah, some partial stretching here and there, but as we mentioned, the most important thing about a method, a channelized method, is to be able to answer the most important question: how? The shortest question, which is the hardest to answer: how to do it? Yeah, I can start doing something like this, but that's nothing. That's nothing.
Yeah.
So, and one more exercise is many wind players. And this is not to exclude strings and piano and singers with the whole breathing issue, but mostly brass players, there is a thing that you lean yourself on the piano and you start pushing your muscles out, kind of push the piano out. And Eddie and I were at a breathing coordination lesson. And this fantastic woman, Lynn Martin, she's such a precious person. I asked her, I said, Lynn, what do you say about this type of exercise, especially like pushing the piano? She says, well, they will develop strong stomach muscles.
How?
Yeah. So in short, about cat tongue is how you approach in this case, I'll talk about just the clarinet. The tongue is our greatest enemy and greatest friend. This physical thing that's inside our mouth, our cavity.
Yes.
So I discovered for myself, because I don't want people to say, oh, you're not the first one who discovered. For myself, I'm talking about, that the initial approach towards producing the sound is almost like when you talk, or even especially when you smack when you, let's say you're eating, but you're eating rather noisy, like if you eat noise, making this noise, and it's a natural process. Many people smack, many people eat very noisy, you want to hit them, it's that noisy. But what really happens, because it's natural, what really happens, the jaw kind of goes down, and then the tongue moves up, but before the jaw goes up. If they move together, it will be this way, and if you talk this way, can't talk this way. So you're moving the jaw and the tongue together, but they move independently. They move absolutely independently. So the jaw basically is doing a little bit of this, and this is good. It's not opening. Open your mouth. If you open your mouth, there is a lot of tension. But if you let the jaw drop, just sometimes I call it dead face, or a little when you're out of your mind or you're drunk, people, and then this happens during natural talking. Then the tongue moves rather independently. So with this in mind, using the air in a way that is not a direct hit of the air, blow into the instrument, but rather to exhale into the instrument, the entire setting of the throat stays intact. People want to tamper with the throat. How are you going to tamper with the throat? Like many singers, they talk about everything else, but the larynx is almost not mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
The only source of sound for singing is the larynx, throat, that's it. So,
yes.
Jaw, tongue, and the intricate connection of tongue and throat connected also to the most natural thing that we have. I call it oiling the parts. To oil the parts, to grease the parts, that's swallowing. That's swallowing. And swallowing is a precursor for creating a sound. Same as if you would give a speech. Often, this is what you see. Ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly the same. If you can play this way, to produce the sound this way, play. No noise. No preparations. The moment you take the instrument, tongue moves a little bit like the 11th finger, touches the reed, releases, goes away, the sound comes out. Well, it's a little more,
Can you show it on your Instagram, on your instrument? Is it near you?
You're going to make me play now, huh? Yes,
no. Just show us the way that usually wind players breathe before playing, and the way that you do that, because I really like what you are talking about.
Well, I'll show you then.
Ilya is gonna show.
Thank you.
We're almost ready.
Sorry, Michigo, I didn't hear you.
No, it's okay. He's almost ready, coming.
Okay. We are super excited to hear him.
Well, see, also I promote this thing to be able to produce a sound without trying to.
The water?
Mm-hmm. I'll use this one.
Okay, Ilian, until you get ready, can I speak Persian? for a couple of seconds?
Yes, yes.
این متدی که اوکی thank you میشیگو این متدی که ایلیان در راجبش صحبت کنه راجب تنفس میگه که ما توی خواننده ها که البته الکساندر تکنیک هم خود الکساندر که حالا از استرالیا بود و خواننده بود شکسپیریست بود دیگه شعر شکسپیر رو میخون همین اتفاق داشت و اینکه کلا به این نتیجه رسید که تکنیک الکساندر رو بیاد راه بندازه همین قضیه بود که خواننده ها وقتی میخوان بخونن قبلش یه نفس با دهن میگیرن خودش وقتی این کارو میکرد که میخواست بخونه گلوش میگرفت و دیگه نمیتونست بخونه بعد دیگه هی خود الکساندر اومد دنبال این گشت که چه جوری میتونه از این قضیه فرار کنه حالا تکنیک الکساندر ابداع شد که حالا اینجا نمیخوام راجعش خیلی کامل توضیح بدم ایلیان همین رو متد کتان که داره راجبش توضیح میده همین قضیه رو داره میگه ما توی تنفس بچه بادی چوبی به صورت تخصصی داره میگه من بادی چوبی رو کار دارم چون خودش خیلی سال کلارنت میزنه و خب پدرش هم نزدیک 60 سال کلارنت زده یعنی کاملا روی این قضیه اشراف کامل داره و متدهای مختلفی روی این قضیه تدریس میشه میشناسه تو همه جای دنیا تقریبا اجرا داشته جای مختلف تو اروپا درس خونده تو امریکا درس خونده میشناسه اینا رو بعد راجعش صحبت میکنه میگه نوازنده چوبی هم همین اتفاقو دارن یعنی یه نفس میگیره قبل از زدن این نفسه باعث میشه که بخواید حرف بزنید کار کنید متوجه میشید مثلا بخواید صحبت کنید یهو احساس میکنید خب من آب دهنم مثلا میگیم آب دهن پرید توی گلو همین اتفاقو داره و این اتفاق اگه انجام شد میبینید که مایچه‌هاتون یه لحظه انقباض توش ایجاد میشه ایلیان داره بهمون نشون میده که چجوری میتونیم از این قضیه فرار کنیم برای هممون مفیده نه فقط برای بچهای نوازنده بادی ما در حین صحبت کردن این اتفاقو داریم خب من دیگه ایلیان فکر کنم آماده است میرم سراغ انگلیسی Okay Ilian we are ready to hear your sound and your voice
So there are two ways to do this. One is when you preparation and you have a lot of stops like few bus stops. One is taking the clarinet. You see many people suck and lick the clarinet, right? You've seen
yes.
this. Then you
Yes.
prepare.
Exactly.
But no, this is not the way. You don't prepare. The beginning of your playing starts here. Not playing. Not playing. The beginning of here. Give me the clarinet. Release it. This is now I'm. There is no preparation from the beginning and seamless. If you can, your face got frozen. Your picture has stopped. Your picture.
Just for playing and the way that you
The sound is lost. The sound is lost again.
can you hear me?
Now I can hear you, yes.
Okay, Ilian, we are reaching the limited time of Instagram for our 1 hour. Let's just end this live. I will start it again and talk about the cat song and learn more about it, okay? Because it's becoming 1 hour. I will join, start the live video in a minute, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, see you. خب ما به تا 1 ساعت اینستاگرام رسیدیم من این رو قطع میکنم دوباره شروع میکنم و از ایلیان درخواست میکنم که اون اضافه شون داشته راجع به کتان صحبت میکرد میشه در واقع همون الان من قطع میکنم و دوباره اضافه